Hi there.
Hi.
Hey, we're Wheelingit. I'm Paul.
I'm Nina.
And today we're going to do a product review. We're going to review a cellular booster, a 4G cellular booster. We were given the opportunity to try out this product in return for a review. It's a WeBoost, a Drive 4G-X OTR system. It comes with amp, antenna, everything you need to boost your cell phone signal. And actually, this is the exact booster and antenna we would have gotten anyway. And the reason we know that is...
Friends. So this is the point where I just kind of go off track a little bit and let you know that we are not the experts in boosters. We have been boosting. Could you say that? We've been boosting for about 7 years. We consider it a pretty essential piece of equipment, but boosting technology changes all the time. And if you're viewing this maybe a year from now, there'll be different stuff on the market. What I recommend you do, I want to give a shout out to our friends Chris and Cherie at the RV Mobile Internet Resource Center.
Yeah, they keep track of all this,
right?
All the developments, what comes out, testing boosters, antennas.
So, and they have a premium membership content as well, the Mobile Internet Aficionados. We're members. That's where we get our info. That's how we get all our data plans is from their tips. That's how we decide on all our boosters.
Yeah, so go there, basically.
Yeah, go there.
But this is a good usage case of places we've been where cell signal is either marginal.
Right here, we've been using the booster, yeah.
Right, and you'll see the data of a couple data points where it can really make a huge difference.
So with that said, let's get started. We'll talk to you a little bit about why you need a booster and so forth, and kind of show you some of the stuff that we've had over the years.
Part two.
So why do you even need a cell booster? Well, the thing about if you RVing, if you rely on being on the internet, one thing you'll realize very quickly when you go on the road is that campground Wi-Fi is not always reliable, and if you camp in public parks,
yeah, it doesn't even exist. So most public parks don't have Wi-Fi. So if you need to be online,
yeah, you basically have to have another method.
Right. So you need a cellular network to access so you can get on the internet.
Yeah. Now there are other, satellite and stuff like that, but cellular networks are by far the easiest way. And by that I mean the big carriers like Verizon, AT&T, and so forth. They all have cellular data plans. We have a little MiFi here. This is how we get our internet, and we've had a Verizon plan
since the beginning. So
since the beginning,
7 years now. Yeah,
and it's changed. It's gone through iterations over the years. We now have a much bigger plan than we did when we started.
And we have 3 plans now.
Yeah, and now we have 3 plans. We have AT&T. We even have a T-Mobile as a backup. And for the most part, they work great. I would say we get coverage in about 80 to 90% of the places we go. But there are a lot of places where the signal can be either weak or iffy, or speeds can be iffy or something like that. And there's a lot of variables that affect that, but booster can really help.
The booster plus antenna can make a huge difference to your coverage and speeds.
Right, and it's basically the difference. It can be the difference between a signal that's not usable and a signal that's totally usable.
Yeah, or a signal that maybe all you can do is email, and then a signal that you can stream,
potentially, yeah,
for example. And
here's a good example. AT&T is kind of really iffy here. With our booster, it's rock solid, right. LTE. So it's something we've had since we started on the road, and
yeah, we consider it an essential piece of equipment.
Yeah.
We've had a booster maybe for 3 or 4 years now. We started without one, but then we quickly realized that we needed one. So.
Yeah, and the types of boosters we've had, we started with a wired 3G booster, and then
back in the old days.
Back in the old days, and an antenna, of course. And then we upgraded to a cradle booster, a little thing like this.
I think it's the WeBoost.
Yeah, this is
4G
actually
cradle booster or something like that.
Yeah, this is actually the Wilson Sleek, and it's now called the WeBoost 4G Drive, right. 4GS Drive. And it's a really simple booster, and it's worked really well for us over the years. You basically just take your MiFi or your phone, and you put it inside the cradle, you attach the antenna, and you're good to go.
Power.
Yeah, and power.
And you're good to go.
And we upgraded that. We have a little stubbly antenna, which we'll show you on the roof when we go up there, which goes with this, and it works fine. We also upgraded to a paddle antenna.
This is a directional antenna.
Yeah.
So this is really, when you're in a marginal situation, it really can point it towards the tower, which you can find with some apps, and you can really hone in on that signal. Combine that with an amp, and that works pretty well as well.
And this is a pretty inexpensive solution. This is about $180. This is actually only about $60. You do need some extra cables and stuff like that. But this has worked well for us over the years. The kind of negatives that we've had, and the whole reason we're upgrading, is this cradle booster gets hot. It's just one of the things about this cradle booster. It's a known problem. So when we have our MiFi sitting in the booster, it overheats, and we usually have to kind of put it in an angle like that to leave a little airspace in order to prevent it overheating. And sometimes that's not even enough. Sometimes we have to actually take it out, let it cool down. So that's one negative.
It's also only amplifies one device at a time.
Exactly, that's the other negative.
So obviously you can only put one thing in here. So if you want to amplify your phone as well, then this is not going to work.
And those are the two things.
And I think the newer boosters work better than this.
Oh yeah, and they do work better.
They do amplify better. You'll see in the data that we've taken, the new boosters do way better than this older booster.
Yeah, this has, I think, officially a 23 dB boost, and the new one that we have has a over 50 dB boost. So there's a big difference. Yeah. And those are really the things that we wanted to solve by upgrading our booster.
And so the booster that we've got in the box
is this.
So you can see it's bigger, definitely. Here's what they call the trucker antenna. So it's about,
this thing's huge.
It's about 29 inches. I think that's the spec.
Actually, I think it's 24. But anyway, it's a big antenna. But this you put externally. This is what kind of collects the signal, and it's also what transmits the signal back to the tower.
And then it connects to the amp.
That's the amplifier.
Okay. And then on the other side of the amp, you have an internal antenna. So this would be what the MiFi or the phone or both, which is multiple devices, needs to be close to.
Right.
And it needs to be quite close, but this is what we usually sit them on top of it like that.
Yes. So the nice thing about this is it doesn't get hot. The nice thing about this is it is a pretty powerful amplifier.
This thing's powerful.
And again, like Paul said, you can put multiple devices. You can have a MiFi, you can have a phone, you can have a pad, whatever, near this internal antenna.
Yeah, and very easy to use.
Yeah, we'll
big antenna in, internal antenna out, power, just flip a button, turns on. If it's green, you're good. If it's red, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
Pretty easy.
So that's pretty much, I mean, that's the roundup of kind of everything we have and the new booster. What we'll do next is we're going to take you on the roof and show you exactly what we do with these antennas.
I would say, since these are bulky antennas, that's the reason we use the little stubbly antenna, which you'll see on the roof most of the time.
Right.
Because it solves most of our usage scenarios. When we really want some boosting, then we break out the big guns.
Right. And
you'll see that here shortly.
Right, you'll see that. So let's go up on the
All right.
roof, we'll show you that, and then we'll go inside and we'll just show you a quick overview of that, and we'll do a little wrap-up.
Okay. All right, we're up on the roof. Let's talk a little bit about our cellular antennas that we use. The first antenna that I have here is this one right over here. Sorry, right over here is the antenna that came with our system, the WeBoost 4G-X OTR. I think it's also called the trucker antenna. It's about, looks 20 to 24 inches. I haven't quite measured it exactly, but it's a good size. As far as placement, the antennas, you want them to be outside, high, so free of obstructions above your RV ideally. Attachment points, some people use the rear ladder. Our tech cabinet is up front, so that's not a great place for us. We chose to mount it here, you see with my high-tech bungee straps. Yeah. We have it mounted here to our TV antenna. That's where our Wi-Fi arranger is as well. They don't interfere interfere with each other. So that's a good point for temporary mount. We only use it when signal's quite bad, so it's not a big deal. As far as, so this is a good point for us. It does make a big difference to get it up above the RV.
Yeah, it does.
You'll see that in the numbers that Nino put on the blog post. Other antennas, when we're in real dire straits and we need a signal, we use a directional antenna.
Oh yeah, this thing's
Obviously, this here is an omnidirectional, so it works in all directions. Big thing is if you really want to get a signal and you're having trouble, if you find the tower, you point it towards the tower, and you'll get a nice signal. We also mount it to the TV antenna pole so we can rotate it and find the tower. And this has made the difference in a couple of cases, so not a lot, maybe less than 5% of our use cases.
Yeah, I would agree.
But it has allowed some pretty nice boondocking opportunities that we wouldn't have been able to do and continue to work.
Yeah.
So, and the antenna we use most of the time is this little guy here. They call it the Stubbly. It came with our WeBoost
Cradle?
4G cradle,
Yeah.
even before it was called WeBoost. And so here we have it magnetically mounted to the roof on a ground plane. The ground plane is important. I would just recommend a piece of 8x8-inch roof flashing. That's about the cheapest thing you can get. An 8x8 will cover most of the frequencies that you need to boost.
Yeah, we went a little fancy. We got a stainless steel
Stainless
plate.
steel, and
But hey, you know,
it works. I didn't realize that there's two kinds of stainless steel. Anyway, long topic. One's magnetic, one's not. So anyway, this kind of works for us, but the roof flashing is a much cheaper option, so I would recommend that. And that's just going into the roof here. So this is what we use most of the time. You'll see the differences. There is a difference, but this works. This little Stubbly works most of the cases. It's always mounted. I like the magnetic thing, so if you hit a tree, it doesn't bust.
Let me show that.
It doesn't bust the antenna. So sometimes I got to come back up here and put this back up, but not a big deal. Better than replacing the antenna. So that's kind of a little brief summary of the antennas, and we'll go inside and we'll show you a little bit of a demo of the boosters. Okay, so we're inside, and I'm just going to show you real quick how to set up the booster. I pulled everything out of our tech cabinet up here just to show you how this is done. So we're using our little Stubbly antenna, since that's what we use most of the time, and that's permanently mounted to the roof, which you saw in the video. And then, so here's the cable coming down from the roof. This is the antenna cable.
And actually, the big antenna will work exactly like this.
Yeah, just with the big antenna, you'll need a little adapter that comes with the kit to hook into the antenna port. And it says outside antenna port, so hard to get it wrong. Right, so you just screw it in there. The internal antenna's over here. I have it attached already. It came like that. I've never taken it off. There's no need to. Right, so all you need is power. So I'll put that down. We're going to use our MiFi here. So this is the power adapter that comes standard with it. It's a cigarette adapter. You can get an AC adapter, but we're using it here. So make sure the power's off.
So that's where we're connected into
12 volts.
Right.
Right, so this goes into the little power port here. Okay, right, this is the internal antenna. You can mount it, Velcro to the wall. It's got a little Velcro that comes with. I'm just going to sit it here. So we're using our MiFi, which right now we got minus 114, minus 106, minus 114 dBm is the signal strength. Okay, so that's what it is right now. Then we'll go ahead and turn it on. You can see here on the WeBoost I have a green light, which means it's working. It's not oscillating, which would mean that this antenna is too close to the external antenna. So everything's, oh, now it's going green, red, green, red. Green, we're good. All right, and then I'm going to set this on top. Maybe I'll turn it around so Nino will come over here and do a video. And right now it's minus 84 dBm.
Yeah, you can't actually see that on the video, but that is actually what it's showing. Trust me.
So that's a huge improvement. I mean, maybe I can lift it up and you can get close if you want, but I mean, minus 116.
Yeah, it's just not showing on the video.
To minus 82 there. That makes a big difference in signal strength. And if you run speed test, as you've seen on the, if you look at the blog post, you'll see a really big increase in bandwidth. So very easy. And then you can mount it wherever you want. I have it set up inside the tech cabinet here, so it's away most of the time, and it works great. That's it.
Oops. So we're back outside. We've kind of shown you the whole system, how easy it is to set up, and the results are good. I mean,
Yeah,
it boosts as expected.
It boosts really well. It's strong. It makes a big difference.
It is much better than our Cradle. It
Yep.
doesn't get hot. It does everything we want it to do. It's super easy to connect. It's a really nice booster.
Yeah.
The negatives is
That thing.
this beastly
It's
thing.
a little bulky.
Yeah, and to have it permanently mounted somewhere, it is possible. You could mount it on your ladder in the back if you have your tech cabinet.
Yeah, there's a flat mount that you could drill it into the sidewall of the RV.
Right.
I didn't want to do that, so we just temporarily mount it. So that's a bit of a challenge. So that's why we're choosing to use our little stubbly antenna most of the time, and it works really well.
Yeah, based on our test results, the little stubbly actually works pretty well. So what we've decided to do is that unless we need the
Some
extra
mega,
reach,
the big guns.
we're just going to use the boost with the stubbly and then break out the big stuff when we need to. So that's the way we're getting
Yeah.
around that.
So that's the one negative, and then a couple others.
Yeah, the other negative is this little internal antenna really doesn't have much reach. I would say 2 feet at the most, and ideally, in order to get this to give the maximum boost, you got to have your stuff right on top of it. So if you have say an iPhone, that's not too bad. You could leave your phone here. You can answer all your calls on your Mac if you have one of those. If you have a MiFi, you can just leave it on top.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. But you do have to be really close to this. So that's, that's just something.
And the third negative is you do have to have about, I think, 6 feet of spacing between the external antenna and the internal antenna.
Right. Otherwise, you get oscillation.
So if it's right outside your window and this is right next to it on the wall, the amp will oscillate, meaning the light turns red, which means it's not boosting.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to tell.
Yeah, if this is green, if this has a green light on it, you're good to go.
It's on
So
the front.
that's pretty much all you need to worry about. But you do have to get that spacing right. So think about that before you set up your tech cabinet and the arrangement.
Yeah.
And the last thing is that it is some dollars.
It's an investment.
This Cradle boost is only about 180. Sometimes you can get the older version cheaper than that.
It comes with the stubbly antenna.
Yeah, so this is inexpensive, whereas this is more like $549 for the kit. You can get it, less expensive on sale. You can get it, $479. We've seen it on sale, and you can get the booster itself
Separately.
Yeah. So there are options there, but you will have to invest a little money in order to get the maximum boostage.
But overall, when you need it, it makes such a big difference that it is worth it, especially if you're dependent on a good signal to do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, we're happy with this. This is going to become a permanent part of our setup, and hopefully we'll get a lot of good use out of it.
All right.
So
So we hopefully enjoyed that review, and see you down the road.
see ya.
Bye.